98FM's Dublin Talks. Call 6797 981.
And good morning from Adrian Kennedy. How are you today? I hope you had a good weekend, and I hope you're all set for another week on Dublin Talks. If you want to get in contact with us this morning about anything that you hear being discussed on the programme, you can send us a text, a WhatsApp, or a WhatsApp voice note to 0877 98 98 98. 0877 98 98 98. Now, first off, on the programme, only a week after a man was found dead in a burnt-out car in Lucan, yet another life has been taken in the criminal underworld here in Dublin. A murder inquiry has begun after a man was shot repeatedly in a gangland attack in Coolock yesterday. The victim, in his early 20s, was wounded several times at a house where he lived on Clonshock Avenue, and the dead man was named locally last night as Owen Boylan. It's believed he was wounded 6 times in the front garden of the property. One line of inquiry being explored is that the attack is linked to a gangland feud between men mainly based in the Coolock area of the city. Let me bring you some audio that was recorded locally by our reporter Casey O'Riordan, who I'm going to be talking to in a second. This is a local councillor, Rachel Batten, talking about what locals want to see being done.
On the ground, they want to see more action, and I think in general they want to see that their area is safe. They don't want this activity associated with their area. A lot of these people are working very hard to assist in this area, develop the area.
And this is a man who lives down the road from where the shooting took place.
I was there in Ballymun, so I know it was like, I had family involved in it, got out of it, but it's what they're all doing now. It's easy money. That's the scary thing. People are not shocked, you know what I mean? Seeing it in Ballymun all my life. My mum still lives up there, so I see her up there. It's constant, all the lads, all the young people are involved in it. They all are. It literally is. It's easy money. They don't want to walk. They're going around on the push bikes delivering drugs outside my mum's house.
Now, 98FM reporter Casey O'Riordan is at the scene. Casey, good morning.
Good morning.
What can you tell us about this particular incident?
Well, yeah, as you said there, Gardaí suspect that Owen Boylan, who's 22 and living on Clonshock Avenue, shot dead in his front garden yesterday evening. That this latest shooting is related to the Coolock gang feud, which by my count has claimed 4 lives so far this year. Owen Boylan would have been known to Gardaí, and there's also reports that there's been a number of attempts on his life in the past, so he would have been well aware that his life was in danger. At the moment, I'm still at the scene, and Gardaí are still here. The scene remains sealed off, and there's a black Golf that's parked in the driveway with a tarp over it. There was a forensic examination last night, but the scene still being sealed off. Obviously, more investigation to go on. So Gardaí, I suppose, linking it to this Coolock gang feud.
What shocked me about this story when I heard about it yesterday was the young age of this man. He's just 22.
Yeah, and that was something that was shocking to me as well. And as you heard from that man that I spoke to this morning, I spoke to a number of locals this morning, and I'm kind of sorry to say that they're not really shocked. And that's not to say that they're dismissive. It's just that the frequency that these things are happening it's no longer surprising for people in the area to turn on their radio and hear that there's been another shooting and that someone is dead. And as that man said, that he's the one that pointed out to me that he's not surprised. I specifically asked him, was it surprising to hear how young the young man was? And he said no, that he just sees this all the time. It's young people that are driving the drug trade in the area.
Have many people been prepared to speak about it, or is there the usual fear with locals about speaking about something like this?
I definitely did get a few rejections when I kind of explained to people what I was looking to chat about. I'd say maybe 3 people stopped me out of the 10 that I tried to chat to. 2 of them had actually kind of, spoke to me about how they weren't surprised, and how I suppose that it's just becoming so commonplace. And as well, I went out to meet a local councillor, and she said that she just feels, you heard the clip there, that she feels that people in Coolock are working so hard to try and improve the area, that incidents like these are just really unhelpful. But also what she said to me that really struck me was about how she feels that the children who live in this area are becoming familiar with the sound of gunshots, and that it's really becoming part of their norm to have to walk past crime scenes to get to school in the morning, which she just says is unacceptable.
Which is quite shocking when you hear that kids in a particular area are nearly immune to the sound of gunshots.
Yeah, that's what really struck me, as I said. You know, the fact that they're walking to school past a crime scene and having to ask their parents what's going on. And that's now happened, I think, 5 times kind of in and around this area of the city. So it's really concerning. And, you know, as she said in her clip there, that people just want action. They want to see more guards on the ground. They want to see this dealt with more efficiently. And
I'm sure you probably saw kids walking past that scene this morning on their way to school.
Yeah, you see people coming out going to work, on their way to the gym, walking their dogs. You know, I saw a postman delivering post, all the houses alongside. You know, life goes on, which is just really, it's kind of that, it's poignant really to see that there's a crime scene in the middle of this world that keeps kind of, you know, going on. So it's just really concerning to see kids, you know, hand in hand with their parents being walked to school, you know, past where a man was gunned down not less than 24 hours ago.
And just back to a thing you said a moment ago, which was that by your count, this is the 4th murder relating to this particular drugs feud.
Yeah, well, this would be the 5th. There's been 4 others this year that I think are linked to this part of the Coolock feud. There would have been 2 that I have personally covered for 98FM would be Zach Parker in Swords outside Gym Plus. That was in February. And then Sean Little in North County Dublin, kind of off the M1. That was back in May. And then if you remember, the following day there was a young man after the murder of Sean Little that was killed in Darndale as he was pushing a pram. And then the following week, a man who I think is maybe part of the Mulhuddart gang, I think it was killed while he was attending the wake of Sean Little. So I think all in all we could count around 5, but it can be hard to keep track when it's happening so frequently and there's so many different gangs involved.
98FM reporter Casey O'Riordan, thanks very much indeed for joining us this morning from Coolock at the scene of that shooting yesterday. It really is scary when you think that, as Casey said, kids are immune, find it just part of their normality to see sealed off crime scenes, to hear gunshots. Everything else really is unbelievable. Anyway, thank you, Casey. Now, next on the programme, boycott the Disney store. I'll never shop there again. How dare they show such a lack of respect for our homeless? Well, these are just some of the comments that have been posted online in the last 24 hours following the news that the Disney store on Grafton Street wants to erect gates in the doorway of its shop in order to prevent rough sleepers using their doorway on a nightly basis. Now, this is nothing new. Businesses in the city centre have been doing it for the last few years, and while a lot of anger has been directed towards the Disney store, others are arguing that it's not the problem of companies to try and solve the homeless crisis. And here's the question I want to ask you. Do you think businesses are wrong to be erecting barriers at their front doors in order to prevent rough sleepers bedding down for the night? Now, a couple of years ago, Dunn Stores on Grafton Street did the same thing. They have gates at the front of their building, and now the Disney store wants to do the same. The shop has applied to erect steel shutters which will close off access to its front doors. CBRE, which acts for the Disney store, say that homeless people had been sheltering in its doorway and that it was being improperly used. That's how they describe it. They said staff members of the Disney store have observed the recessed doorway as being used by the homeless for sleeping, alongside apparent drug use being reported. And they added, this activity has exposed the Disney store staff to threatening behaviour and confrontation. Due to this, the Gardaí have been contacted on multiple occasions to deal with this. So this is staff arriving for work in the morning and having to literally wake somebody up because they're asleep in the front door. And then they get hurled abuse for trying to wake the person up or whatever. I I'd like to hear from you. Do you think a company is within its rights to put gates at the front of their store, like the Disney store on Grafton Street? They've applied for permission to erect gates at the front, just like Dunnes Stores have done. And I'd like to hear from you on 6797 981. Maybe you run a business and experience the exact same problem. And if so, how do you deal with it? Call me right now on 6797 981. Now, we did talk about this last year. And on the programme last year, we spoke to a man called Hugh, who has to deal with the exact same thing.
Absolutely, 100%, Adrian.
Why?
I have the exact same problem. I manage a supermarket, and I won't say where it is, but we have the exact same problem where we are.
Okay, so describe the problem to me.
You come in, these guys come from 8 o'clock in the morning till the next day. They gather in 5, 6s. They argue outside for who's getting the spot, who's not getting the spot. You could come in the morning, there's feces, there's urine, they're all over. It's all over the place, which incurs costs on our business because we actually have to go and employ people to come and clean this up. We actually are in court in the next, I think, in 2 months. They've assaulted 2 of my managers. It's absolutely crazy. You get no support off the cards whatsoever because they tell you that they're citizens and this and that. They'll only support you if something like that, if there's abuse.
If there's an assault or whatever, yeah.
Exactly.
But as regards sleeping in and urinating in your shop doorway, nothing gets done about it.
Absolutely nothing. The council won't help you. They just basically tell you to get on with it. It's your doorway. It's not public property. You have to clean it up, which we've actually got to the stage now. We have a meeting in 2 or 3 weeks' time. We're actually going to have to put security into our centre because we're getting so much grief from these guys in the night time because they're so drunk, they're taking drugs. So that's another cost that's going to have to go into our business, which means anybody that's located in our centres, rates, all their stuff is going to start going up because all these costs have to be paid for. And the government don't care. Okay, now,
I'd like to hear from you on this on 6797 981. You can text, you can WhatsApp, or send a WhatsApp voice note to 0877 98 98 98. We're talking about a plan, an application by the Disney store on Grafton Street to erect basically a gate in front of their door. And if you're familiar with the store, you'll know that it has a recessed door, so there's kind of a porch out the front, and they want to put gates across that porch, basically, to stop people bedding down for the night. Brian McLaughlin is from Inner City Helping Homeless, and he joins me on the line. Brian, welcome to 98FM.
Morning, Adrian.
What's your reaction to, and they wouldn't be the first store to do this?
Yeah, I mean, look, it's one of those things where, particularly with Disney Store, you know, it certainly feels like there's a bit of a generalisation going on. I mean, we have over 10,500 people that are homeless. Of course, there are people that are going through addiction issues and mental health issues. So, I mean, fundamentally, it falls down to the fault of the government that we haven't got enough beds available for people that are homeless, with enough wraparound support services, that we are having so many people sleeping on the streets at night. But from a Disney Store perspective, we have nearly 4,000 homeless children, Adrian, that are facing emergency accommodation for Christmas. And to kind of generalise homelessness in the way that's being done, it doesn't have a good reaction.
Well, it's not homelessness per se, Brian. It's rough sleeping is what they're getting at. And the fact is that they say staff members of the Disney store have observed the recessed doorway is being used by the homeless for sleeping alongside apparent drug use. Now, nobody needs to have to deal with that when they arrive for work first thing in the morning.
No, and I agree with you 100%. And as I say, of course they're homeless, and if they're rough sleeping, they're homeless. So, I mean, that does include homelessness. But obviously when this story broke over the weekend, Adrian, you know, the definition is homeless. It's not defining it as someone that has rough sleep or someone that has an addiction or a mental health issue. And when you're dealing with like 150 to 180 people sleeping out every single night, there are some people that will do things that shouldn't be done on the streets, like that's happened on Grafton Street. But there's also a lot of rough sleepers out there that look after themselves, that keep themselves clean, that want to get out of that situation that they're in. So we can't kind of generalise over the whole lot of them. And I think the council particularly should be looking at something in regards to cleaning to support these shops. But, it's unfortunate that these people are in that situation, that they have to sleep down in the doorway. So that's, the root of the problem. No,
and I accept that, and I think most people think it's disgraceful that people are in that situation, that they're rough sleeping, and, it's a blight on our society that we have people doing that. But let's go back to the store itself, and as we said, Dunn Stores on Grafton Street did this a couple of years ago, and obviously it's become an ongoing problem for the Disney store that they have applied for permission to erect a gate themselves. Now, can you not understand why they need to do this?
No, well, as I say, I think there's different ways it could be dealt with. Like what? Disney are a multi-billion-dollar company, so I mean, Disney can well afford to hire cleaners to go in and do that, so their staff aren't dealing with that every single day. I think doing something that's going to maybe lead to other shops doing similar things. Like, what are we going to have to do then when there is no shop doors for people to sleep in? There is no shelter. There is no cover. Are they all supposed to sleep in an exposed park? Where are they supposed to go? I mean, as I said, the fundamental
with all due respect, Brian, with all due respect, the Disney store, it's not down to the Disney store to solve the homeless crisis and the rough sleeping crisis.
Not at all, of course not, but it's up to the Disney store to come up with a more humane way to sort the problem that their shop is experiencing on Grafton Street. I mean, as I said, the fundamental cause of this, make no mistake about it, Adrian, is the fact that there isn't enough beds available, despite what the Minister consistently says over and over again.
Yeah, but we will always have rough sleepers. There are always going to be people who don't want to go to a hostel for various different reasons, or fall through the cracks, or whatever the case may be. So no matter how many spaces are provided, you will always have that element that will sleep rough.
But the facts are that there's never enough beds provided. Irrespective of that, there's never enough beds in the system. There's never enough beds available at night time to cover the amount of people that are sleeping out. So that would be a start. If there was enough beds to cover everybody that is actually homeless and sleeping out, that would be a start. But proper wraparound support services would also support that as well. So, I mean, of course, it comes down to that as well. Now, don't get me wrong, as I said, you can't generalise against 150 people. There's going to be good people sleeping out in the street that do take care and clean up after themselves.
Okay, but when I hear about the Disney store that staff have been have faced threatening behaviour and confrontation, the Gardaí have been called multiple times to deal with this. Staff shouldn't have to deal with that first thing in the morning when they arrive for work, and the simplest way to deal with it is to put a gate across the door, and then nobody can sleep there.
As I said, though, where does that lead to? Does that lead to every other shop in Dublin doing the same thing, and then suddenly we have no cover for anybody? I mean, as I say, there are people that sleep in shop doorways that our teams deal with every single night, who make the effort to clean themselves up, take their stuff with them when they go in the next morning. So there are good people out there that try and clean up after themselves. So if we do a blanket thing like this across the whole city, where do the people go then? Does that lead to more? It could lead to more antisocial behaviour for all we know. We don't know what the consequence of that will be.
So are you calling on the Disney store to scrap their plans to put a gate at the front of their store?
I'd love to see them sit down with an organisation like ourselves or other homeless charities and say, look, let's come up with a more humane solution to this problem. It is a problem we have to address. I mean, obviously, as your previous caller said there, they have reported it to the council. So the council should be getting involved in this as well and saying, look, you guys are a store on Grafton Street, but we do also have a homeless crisis, so we need to come up with a solution that your staff aren't having to deal with these situations.
Yeah, but what is that, other than having a Garda presence at the front door of Disney every day? Or 24-hour security?
Well, I mean, we as we well know, that the road sweepers, there's cleaners out every single night around Dublin. So the council could obviously go ahead and say, OK, well, look, let us monitor what's going on outside your shop. We'll send a cleaner around in the mornings to make sure that the place is cleaned up again. And let's talk to the people that are sleeping there and explain to them that unless people are cleaning up after themselves, there will be gates put here, and that'll be the end of it. No one will be able to sleep there again.
All right, Brian McLaughlin from Inner City Helping Homeless, thank you very much indeed for talking to us. I'd like to hear from you on this on 6797 981. You can text, WhatsApp, or send a WhatsApp voice note to 0877 98 98 98. Back in a second.
The sound of the city, from Donamead to Drimna. Dublin Talks. 98FM's Dublin Talks.
And good morning from Adrian Kennedy. We're having a conversation about the Disney store applying for permission to Dublin City Council to erect gates at the front of their store, essentially to prevent homeless people bedding down for the night. because they have to deal with that every day of the week. People sheltering in their doorway. Staff members of the Disney store have observed homeless sleeping alongside apparent drug use. The activity has exposed the Disney staff to threatening behaviour and confrontation. Due to this, the Gardaí have been contacted on multiple occasions to deal with this. So that's why they're doing it. But they have been slammed. You should have seen some of the posts on social media yesterday from people, I'll never shop there again. I'm going to boycott the store. And I'm trying to find out why. Why would people even say that when the company wants to do this to protect their own staff, essentially? Here's a WhatsApp voice note from Jason.
Let him sleep in his doorway and see how he likes it. A big cost on his pocket. It's not Disney's fault that they're just homeless people sleeping rough. Why should Disney pay out of their pocket to clean up other people that has nothing to do with Disney? Like, they shouldn't be out of pocket at all for operating a company.
Okay, thank you very much indeed, Jason. Jamie, you volunteer with Friends Helping Friends Homeless Charity. You do soup runs in the city. You obviously see rough sleepers regularly. Can you understand why the Disney store is doing what it's doing?
Yeah, to a certain degree, we understand that the Disney store has to protect their staff, Adrian, and the health and safety of staff is always paramount in any business. But you have to remember, there's a reason there's someone sleeping in a recessed doorway, and it's because it's raining, it's cold. Like, have you seen the weather lately? Sometimes it's torrential rain, and for a homeless person to get into a spot where, A, they're not going to be drenched from the rain, and also, it's a kind of place of safety. Someone is less likely to come over and kick a homeless person, which we see all the time, by the way. We've seen homeless people attacked on the streets. We've seen homeless people being urinated on. We've seen homeless people have cups of tea and bottles of drink poured over them. So this is not only homeless people going, well, I'm going to sleep in that doorway just because I know it wrecks the Disney store's head. It's like a little area of safeness, really, for a homeless person at night.
Okay, so you can half understand why they're doing this, but I was listening to Inner City Helping Homeless a while ago, and they were saying basically we need to come up with a more humane solution than erecting gates.
And Brian is completely right, and Inner City Helping Homeless do great work, and they work alongside all the organisations, and we do need to come up with a more humane solution. But
I fail to understand what that humane solution is.
Well, it falls down to the council. The council needs to up their game. They need to provide more beds. And like you said, Adrian, there will be people who want to sleep out. But the people sleeping on Grafton Street are not those people.
Okay, stay there for 1 second, Jamie. Stay there for a second. Let me go to Jesse. You're on 98FM, Jesse. How are you?
Hi.
Now, you have been at that Disney store and seen the sort of antisocial behaviour that Disney are complaining about.
Yeah. On a few occasions, I would have gone in for some sort of release that was out early, and you'd queue early at the store. And sometimes I'd bring my children in. And, I mean, it might not be a homeless person. It could be anybody on Grafton Street. The abuse that people just standing around even at the door or have to deal with, it's not necessary.
Like what? Give me an idea of what you're talking about.
Just like some of them could be up in your face, like saying, why the hell would you be outside this store and all this, or you're disturbing people and this, that and the other. And, I mean, you'd have your young kids with you, and it's not fair on them. You're there for the Disney store, for your kids, and it's supposed to be a happy, magical place for them, you know, and they have to deal with that. It's not fair for them. And I don't understand why, as you say, the Disney store should have to fork out to clean up in the morning. I've seen staff cleaning up. I've seen them come out and assist with people.
What have you seen them clean up?
They've had to just clean up the doorways and stuff, you know. They'd be out with their brushes, they'd be out with water, clean up. As I said in my message, sometimes like the smell of urine just outside, you can't stand near the store, you have to stand away because of the smell until either the Disney store staff come out and clean it, or eventually the council come along with their brusher thing. So.
Okay, so can you understand why this store has applied for permission to put a gate across their recessed porchway?
Well, I can totally understand it, because, as I said, some people are bringing young kids in, and it's not for them to see things like that either. Like my daughter specifically, now she'd be kind of afraid of people kind of lying on the street, or she'd be moving behind you just in case, like, because because they're young and they're going in to see like Disney stuff. You know what I mean? They don't have to be. They don't have to see things like that. You know what I mean? Especially at a place like the Disney store.
Okay, so you're totally behind the Disney store in doing this.
Yeah, I just don't think it's up to them to solve the problem. It isn't. It's like any street, any shop on Grafton Street should have the right to protect their business, protect their staff. I just don't see why people have such an uproar just because of the company that it is, because it's such a big company.
Well, in fact, somebody just texted in a second ago, and this isn't down to Disney, to basically saying that the Disney store should build a massive homeless shelter. Honestly, that
again, it's not up to Disney, and anyone who is there to protect their staff or their customers, they shouldn't be penalised for that, and it shouldn't be a big outrage just because of the company that is doing it. Like as you said earlier on, Dunnes Stores did a similar thing as well. You know, it's up to them to protect their staff and their business.
All right, Jessie, thanks very much indeed. Carl, you don't believe they shouldn't even need permission to put up a gate at the entrance to their building?
No, I don't see why. If you walk down Grafton Street, there's loads of shops have a steel shutter come down right at the line where the path joins into the store, you know what I mean?
Right, so you think they should have every right to put this gate across their recessed door porch?
I'd have a big steel roller shutter if it was me.
I wonder what would be to stop them putting a big... I assume it's to do with the look of Grafton Street.
I don't even know why they need planning permission. You look at Brown Thomas and all that, they have a big shutter right down to at the door.
Okay, Jay, you're on 98 FM. How are you, Jay?
I'm not too bad.
Jay, your point is that these people who are rough sleeping in the doorway of the Disney store are no harm.
Well, in a way it is, and in a way it isn't. Like, there is some homeless out there that have been forced to go homeless because they've lost jobs. They have no way of income, and they're not causing any harm. But then, like people have said already, there is people out there that would cause harm to the public that do drugs or urine. But, like...
Well, according to the company that acts as agents for the Disney store, they say staff members have observed it being used for rough sleeping, obviously, alongside drug use in the doorway and leaving needles and all that sort of stuff. And then the staff have to come along in the morning, as you heard there a second ago, and clean it all up again. That's not their job.
No, it's not. It shouldn't have anything to do with them at all. Like, by all means, if there is trouble day after day after day, by all means, put up a gate or something to protect your store. But there is homeless out there that, like other people have said, you see tea poured over them, food thrown at them, everything, that are genuinely homeless for no fault of their own.
But and we all accept, you know, nobody is saying every single rough sleeper is a bad egg, but sadly there are some bad eggs sleeping rough who leave drug paraphernalia behind them, who just really don't care.
There is some there, like, they just don't care for the general public at all. Like, you see little kids walking around and, yeah, out of the blue, they could step on a syringe and it'll go through their foot or whatever else would happen. But, like, you'd hear on the news that there's houses or everything being handed to refugees. Now, I have no problem with refugees, but at the same time, they say there's no houses for the homeless, but yet they're handing the houses away to refugees that are coming in. Like, it doesn't make sense in a way.
But as I said a while ago, Jay, even if there were enough beds provided for people who sleep rough, you will always have rough sleepers, people who, for whatever reason, choose to sleep rough. And we've spoken to them on this programme in the past. Some of them just don't want to go into a hostel because they're trying to stay away from drugs or whatever the case may be. So you will always have rough sleepers.
Oh, yeah, by all means. Like you said there, it's like you could go into a hostel and you'd think it'd be fine, but then you could have people there doing drugs. Like, it's just, I don't think it's fair that everyone's boycotting the store. Like, they do have to do what is best for them, but at the same time, some homeless sleep in the porches to keep the heat, the cold off their back. Like, the cold coming off them on all four fronts of their body. Like, why not let them, if they're not causing trouble, by all means, let them sleep there. But if they are causing trouble, by all means, call whoever you have to get them out of the place. But it shouldn't be up to the store either to clean up after them. It's completely down to the council.
All right, Jay, thanks very much indeed for your call. A couple of your messages before we wrap this up. As usual, people blame the council. I'm actually losing respect for the homeless charities listening to them. If the rough sleepers don't respect the doorway they are staying in, then up with the gates, says Emmett. Another few of your messages. Adrian, you had an independent councillor on the air only last week complaining about a homeless shelter being built on Ainger Street. Maybe get him back on the air to see what he thinks of this now, says Kevin. That was actually Councillor Mannix Flynn who was on the programme last Friday week talking about that. And then, one more. This shop should be boycotted, says this message. It's due to heartless attitudes like this towards the homeless why the homeless crisis in Ireland is as bad as it is, says that message. And one last one. It is not the Disney shop responsibility to look out for the homeless. There are beds. The problem is the homeless shelters and the violence in them needs dealing with. All right. Thanks very much indeed for all of your calls, comments, texts and opinions. This is 98FM's Dublin Talks. I'm Adrian Kennedy. We're here till midday today. Now, on the way after the break, tell us something we don't know. I want you to fascinate me with your fascinating facts. I love this bit of the show. We call it Tell Us Something We Don't Know. And I want you to tell us something that you reckon we don't know. Like, and the example I keep giving, because I'm still gobsmacked by it, there is no front door lock on Downing Street. I never knew that until one of our callers told us that 2 weeks ago. I would like you to tell us something that we don't know, and you can win yourself a night out at the cinema with thanks to IMC Cinemas. We're back in just a moment.
The sound of the city from Coolock to Cabinteely. Dublin Talks. 98FM's Dublin Talks.
I'm Adrian Kennedy, and this man in front of me is Mr. Jeremy Dixon, and we want you to share with us something that we don't know. Everybody has a fascinating fact that they reckon nobody else knows, that they share with their friends and family at parties. We want you to share it with us right now, in return for which you could win yourself a pair of cinema passes for a night out at the cinema at IMC Cinemas, just for telling us something we don't know. Let me give you an example.
Yes,
okay?
hit me.
No word, I didn't know this until I was told it, okay? No word in the English language rhymes with month, orange, silver, or purple. Those 4 words. No other word rhymes with them.
So if you were to
tell me a word that rhymes with orange. There isn't one.
So if you were to write a song with the word orange in it, you couldn't find a word that
would rhyme with it.
Which is why there's never been a song called Orange.
Correct.
Yeah.
Month. There's no word that rhymes with month. There just isn't. Anyway, there you are. That's my fascinating fact. That's something you didn't know. No word in the English language rhymes with month, orange, silver, or purple.
Lunch rhymes with month.
No, it doesn't.
Doesn't it kind of? I have my lunch every month. No, that'd be a terrible song.
Yeah.
My doctor, actually, who listens to this show, gave me one that I promise I'll read out for him today. Here's one none of you will actually know. Did you know that you don't sneeze when you're asleep? You cannot physically sneeze. Now, this is coming from a doctor, by the way, so this
is absolutely true, then.
This is medically confirmed, okay?
Yeah.
You cannot sneeze when you're asleep. So if you have a head cold, yeah, and you fall asleep, you won't sneeze once. How weird is that? That you could have a really bad cold and then as soon as you go to sleep, you can't sneeze. And as well, here's another thing that he told me about the nose. He's fascinated with noses, by the way. You should go to see him.
Right.
About your nose.
My nose is grand, thanks.
No, but here's another thing he told me about your nose. No matter how pungent a smell around you is, you cannot smell it when you're asleep. So if you're asleep, I want you tonight, everybody to try this. Tonight, when your partner is asleep in bed and you're still awake, because you never go to sleep at the same time, when your partner falls asleep, put something really, really smelly beside them when they're in bed. They won't wake up. They won't smell it.
Oh, so you can't smell in your sleep?
Well, when was the last time you smelled
And you can't sneeze in your sleep?
So literally, you know, your missus falls asleep before you every night. Yeah. You could literally be eating a bag of chips in the bed beside her. I don't know, do you do that sort of carry on? Have you ever had a bag of chips in bed?
No, not really.
It's lovely. You could be eating a bag of chips in the bed beside
and it
her.
won't wake her up because she won't smell it.
She won't smell
That's
them.
amazing. Now, can I just address, we were talking about no word in the English language rhymes with month.
Oh,
orange,
I can think of one.
Silver or purple. Now, a lot of people are texting in.
Yeah, I've just thought of a word.
The word month rhymes with the word.
It does.
No, it doesn't.
Does.
That word has just a T at the end of it, not a TH.
It still rhymes, though.
Okay, another word they're claiming it rhymes with is runt. Okay? The runt of the litter. It's not the runth of the litter. Okay? It's not the runth of the litter, it's the runt of the litter. So no, it doesn't rhyme. And the other word, the word, doesn't rhyme either. There's no H on it, so it can't rhyme.
Here's something we didn't know from Enda, who's been in contact with us. He says, here's one for you, lads. I can't go on air. Arthur Guinness didn't sign his name as we know it with two S's at the end. He signed it with an F and an S. His actual name that he signed was Arthur Guinness.
Really?
So the man's name wasn't Guinness after all. So we're calling the drink the wrong thing. It should be Guinness.
We want you to share with us something that we don't know. Your fascinating fact. And as I said, for callers on the air, we will put you in a draw for a night out at the cinema at IMC Cinemas. You and a mate, your partner, your friend, somebody you meet on the street that you want to just invite to the cinema. You could go to the cinema.
Stop texting in words that rhyme with month because we're over it now. Why did you even bring that up? The word blunt rhymes with month.
It doesn't. There's no H on it.
No, you're right.
Blunt. No, it doesn't rhyme. So please stop. Blunt does not rhyme. There's no H on it.
Because you're being annoying.
Yeah,
blunts.
Exactly. Mariah.
Hiya.
Hi, Mariah. How are you?
How are you?
Could you take us off speaker if you wouldn't mind, or off hands-free, because it's really echoey?
Better.
That's much better. Now, Mariah, tell us your fascinating fact, something that we don't know.
Did you know a group of crows are actually called murder?
A murder of crows?
Mm-hmm.
Really?
Or that a dartboard is made out of horsehair.
Oh, no, I didn't know. What? No, it's cork, isn't it?
No, horsehair.
A dartboard is made out of horsehair?
Yeah, like, like the strawy bit, the stringy bit.
Yeah, so it's like it's compressed into a dartboard.
I don't know what way that works now. I don't make them, but yeah.
Fair enough. No, I didn't know that a dartboard is made out of horsehair. And what was your other one?
I'm looking these up. Well, I've confirmed your first one, yes. The collective name for, I feel like the fella on, that game Pointless, Adrian, the fella that doesn't host the show, the fella that sits there and checks all the answers. That's me.
That's you.
The name for a collection of those birds is actually a murder of crows.
A murder of crows. Okay, right.
And most modern dartboards, they're made of horsehair.
That is fascinating.
How would you even know that?
Well, she did know it. Well done, Mariah.
Bullseye.
Because I always thought a dartboard was made with cork as well, but no.
Here's another fascinating fact.
Yeah.
Mariah probably isn't named after Mariah Carey.
I actually am. It's Mariah Kelly.
No way! Mariah Kelly?
Yeah.
What's the chances?
And were you named after Mariah Carey?
I don't know, some strange obsession that my ma had.
Oh.
She had to have. How many other Mariahs do you know?
None.
In the history of the world?
I've heard of a black one, but...
A black Mariah.
Yeah,
it's a car, yeah.
Thank you, Mariah. Keep them coming in. 6797-981 is our telephone number. You can text, WhatsApp, or send a WhatsApp voice note to 0877 98 98 98. We want to hear your fascinating facts. We want you to tell us something we don't know. Okay? And some great ones coming in. And we'd love to hear from you on 6797 981. Door hinge rhymes with orange.
Oh.
Really, that's where we're...
It actually does, though.
Door hinge, orange.
Listen to... I can hear Eminem rapping now. I got my orange stuck in a door hinge.
No.
That'd be a terrible song as well.
It would be a terrible song.
Here's one that's not very nice. It just came in from Gavin. Did you know, lads, that your feet makes about a litre of sweat every day?
Ew!
Oh, my God, that's a lot of...
Your feet
Yeah,
make a litre of sweat every day.
Yeah.
Your socks would be soaking wet.
Well, your socks normally are wet.
Well, no, mine aren't. Speak for yourself.
I've awful sweaty feet. Yeah.
No, well, I don't. Sorry, who's on line 2 there, Katie? Because I can't see any name. Oh, Gabriel or Gabrielle. Is it Gabriel or Gabrielle?
Gabriella.
Gabriella. Yeah. Hello, Gabriella. How are you?
All good, thanks.
Now, we're talking about things that we don't already know, but you're on about the word orange.
Orange, yeah. I think it rhymes with porridge. No?
I think
orange.
it's lost in translation here, I think.
Porridge, orange. Well, just the J at the end. That's about it, really. Porridge and orange. No.
I eat the porridge straight after my orange.
You have your porridge after your orange.
Exactly.
No, that wouldn't be a song. I had my porridge, then I had an orange. Oh, yeah, she's actually right. Yeah, she's right.
Okay, can we move on past this rhyming thing? Thank you very much indeed, Gabriella. 6797981 is our telephone number. Text, WhatsApp, or send a WhatsApp voice note to 0877 98 98 98. We want you to share with us something we don't know. Ian, you're on 98 FM. How are you, Ian?
All good.
Ian, fascinate us with something we don't know.
Brace yourselves now.
Go. Yeah.
Bacon fries are suitable for vegetarians.
Oh, hang on. That's
disgusting, isn't it?
It's a bit of a contradiction, isn't it?
Well, this is gonna kill my sister if she's listening, because my sister turned vegetarian at the age of about 15, and she used to love bacon fries. You know the ones you get in the
pubs, yeah,
and scampi things as well. Now she stopped eating them because she said they had bacon flavour in them.
Yeah, but it's very disappointing that they're stupid vegetarians, though.
I need to look this
So,
up.
okay, so you're saying that there is no animal products in bacon fries?
Well, they're telling me that.
Who's telling you?
Bacon fries, there's on the package.
Suitable for vegetarians?
Yeah.
Who knew?
I'm looking it up, Adrian. Give me a
find
chance.
the answer quick.
Okay, they're made by Smith's, is the company. It's the red packet that those of you will know when you were a kid. You used to go to the pub and your parents would give you a bottle of fizzy drink and a packet of bacon fries and come back in 2 hours. And I'm looking at the back of them, and it says on them, suitable for vegetarians.
How disgusting is that?
Isn't that mad?
Now, there's even a madder thing in that in a pub in England, you get a how much would they be in a pub in Ireland if you're to buy
probably €2.
Yeah, they're only 89.
120 in the country.
Oh, 120 down the country.
Yeah. Anyway, where down the country?
Kildare.
Well, they're 89 cent in England.
89 cent.
89 cent.
Yeah, they're not that cheap here. Anyway, so bacon fries, ironically, are suitable for vegetarians. Who knew?
Ian, you know what I love about your pubs, the pubs down the country, yeah?
What's that?
I was down in Wexford for the weekend and went to some I like going to local Irish pubs. You know what I love about ordering a drink in a pub down the country, yeah?
Go on.
So you order a Spears and a mixer, yeah?
Yeah.
And they pour the Spears into your drink with the ice. And the next minute, this 5-litre bottle of mineral comes out on the table, down on the table. And they literally just leave the bottle of mineral with you.
Yeah, and do you know how hard it is to get someone to pay for that, Dash?
Oh, well, I didn't pay for it. I kept the whole bottle for the whole day.
Thank you, Ian. Keep your calls coming in, 6797981. We're talking about fascinating facts. We want you to tell us something we don't already know. Jimmy, you're on 98 FM. How are you, Jimmy?
Hi, good morning. In 1 month of the year, in the alphabet, there's only 25 letters used.
Hang on, sorry, say that again?
In 1 month of the year, in this particular month of the year, we only use 25 letters.
I've no idea what that even means.
Neither do I. In 1 month of
there's 26 letters in the alphabet, correct?
Correct, yes.
Right, for 1 month of the year, we only use 25. What is the month?
For 1 month of the year, we only use 25 letters. We don't use 26.
Yeah, because in the month of December, there's no L.
I just can't get over the bacon fries.
No
L.
There's no L, yeah?
No L.
No L! Oh, jeez. Noel! Oh, I get it now. All right.
That's not even a fact. That's just a stupid Christmas cracker joke.
Thank you, Jimmy. We'll take another couple of calls with your fascinating facts. Tell us something we don't know on 6797981. It's 11 o'clock across Dublin. Good morning, this is Adrian Kennedy. This is 98FM's Dublin Talks. And this is Trish with Monday's top headlines.
Thanks, Adrian. A local councillor says children in Coolock are becoming too familiar with the sound of shotguns. It's after 22-year-old Owen Boylan was shot dead in his front garden on Clonshock Avenue yesterday evening. Gardaí suspect the shooting is related to an ongoing Coolock gang feud, which has claimed 4 other lives so far this year. It's claimed allowing people to sleep rough in the doorways of businesses normalises the problem. The Disney store on Grafton Street has applied for planning permission for a security gateway to stop people bedding down. The store claims staff have been threatened and Gardaí have been called to deal with antisocial behaviour. And car-free zones are to be trialled outside 2 primary schools in Malahide. The School Streets initiative from Fingal County Council is the first of its kind and will see pedestrian and cycling zones created during drop-off and collection times. And you're up to date on 98.
98FM's Dublin Talks. Call 6797 981.
And we're asking you to share with us things we don't know. Mikey sent us this WhatsApp voice note.
Did you know St. Nicholas is buried in Ireland?
Really?
No, he's not.
St. Nicholas is buried in Ireland?
No, he's from...
Can you find out the answer to that? You said you were your man off the telly.
Pointless, yeah.
Where is St. Nicholas buried? I want to know.
Okay.
He's from. Just find out the answer. Just do what you're told.
Did you know St. Nicholas is buried in Ireland?
No, that's incorrect. I just got the answer, Adrian. He's buried in a place called Bari in Italy.
Okay.
In the Basilica San Nicola. That's where he's buried.
Oh, so it's not in Ireland.
No.
Okay. Dermot sent us this one.
Adrian, if you rub shaving foam on a steamed up mirror, it doesn't steam up again. Remember where you heard it.
98FM. But you wouldn't be able to see in the mirror because you'd have shaving foam all over it, so that's pointless.
No, I have actually heard this before.
He's got it wrong. It's actually vinegar.
No.
No, it's vinegar. It is vinegar.
No.
Yes.
No, I think
are we going to argue over it?
Okay, we won't.
It's vinegar.
Okay, now, Richie, tell us something we don't know.
Okay, if you peel a banana, especially a banana, you can peel it with the orange as well. You know, the inside, the stringy bits, you always peel off.
Yeah.
You know, the long stringy bits?
Yeah.
They are called phloem bundles.
Ooh, spell that word for me?
Phloem, and it's pronounced phloem.
Yeah.
Bundles.
Phloem bundles.
Yes.
Who knew?
There you go.
My son is allergic. Well, he's not allergic to these, but he is terrified of the phloem bundles. And we tried to get him to eat fruit, and you peel a banana for him, and you'll hand it to him. And next minute you're, no, take it away. And I'm like, what's wrong, Luke? What's wrong? The first time I thought he was out to find a spider in the banana or something. It's like, the stringy bits, I don't want the stringy bits, Daddy. And I'm like...
Well, when you go home, you can ask him...
how's this phloem bundles?
Phloem bundles, yeah. Phloem bundles, who knew? That's fascinating. That's something I didn't already know. Here's a WhatsApp voice note. Could be a discussion for another day.
Fascinating facts. It is impossible for a right-handed person to use a left-handed tin opener. I tried to open a bowl of custard or a tin of custard on Friday night, and I was trying to open it with a left-handed tin opener, and I'm right-handed, and I couldn't get it open at all. I just threw the custard in the bin, or the tin of custard in the bin. So yeah, fascinating.
Okay, now you are...
Well, his first problem there was buying custard in a tin. Who doesn't buy it in the plastic things? You know, the plastic containers, the ready-made one.
Yeah.
Nobody makes their own custard now.
But you're a lefty.
I'm a lefty.
And we've spoken about this before. Can you open a tin?
No, I told you. Were you here a couple of weeks ago on the show when I was... my first world problem a couple of weeks ago on the show, I was telling you that I was trying to open a tin of Campbell's soup. And our tin opener was broken. I had a left-handed tin opener, and I had to go into the neighbours to borrow their tin opener, and it was a right-handed one, and I couldn't open the tin of Campbell's soup.
At all? You just didn't have it?
No, because I couldn't have the soup.
Okay, so similarly, the opposite will be the case. I'd be unable to open your tin of Campbell's with a left-handed tin opener.
Yeah, well, I couldn't play golf left-handed. Have you ever seen a golfer play left-handed?
Not that I've noticed, but I'm sure I have.
Have you ever even seen a left-handed golf club?
No, I
Does
didn't
such
even
a
know
thing?
there was...
Well, I don't know. Does it exist? You look at every golfer in the whole world, yeah?
Yeah.
Tiger Woods, your man from
All
the
of
north,
them,
what's
yeah.
his name? Rory McIlroy.
Yeah.
Every single golfer in the world that I can think of plays golf right-handed. Yeah, so when you see them standing at the tee, they're swinging
that
on the
way,
right.
yeah.
When have you ever seen someone swing the other way? Have you ever seen somebody swing the other way? Adrian?
I have, but not on a golf course. No. Clive, you're on 98 FM. Hi, Clive.
Good morning, gents. Can I just say one thing about the golf? Phil Mickelson, he's a lefty.
But does he have left-handed golf clubs?
Yeah, his whole set is all left-handed, yeah.
Ah, right,
check that
okay.
out if you want. There you go, that's a little fact.
And where
Right,
would you buy left-handed golf club? I regularly am in golf. I regularly go to McGurk's Golf to buy golf things, and I've never seen a left-handed golf club.
I'm not sure if you have to kind of order them specifically, but I know there's a halfpenny golf in Drogheda where I'm from, and I know they have left-handed stuff there, so...
Now, somebody's after texting in to say, I am left-handed, and the only thing that I actually do with my left hand is right. In other words, this person is saying that he or she is able to do everything else as a right-handed person
I'd love
can.
to hear from a left-handed golfer. They must be like part of a secret society, are they?
I don't know.
Well, I actually play pitch and putt as well, and there's a couple of guys in our club that are left-handed as well playing pitch and putt.
And would they have left-handed golf clubs?
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, right,
They'd swing from the other side as compared to what
That's
I
their
would.
own business, but yeah, okay.
No, but what I'm saying is being left-handed does not determine that you play golf left-handed. I mean, I'm left-handed, yeah?
Yeah.
But I play snooker with my right hand and I play golf with my right hand.
Well, I mean, in that argument, you could look at Ronnie O'Sullivan, who's quite ambidextrous when it comes to snooker.
Okay, we're getting bogged down here now. Clive, tell us something we don't know.
Okay, so I have two small facts for you, okay? So the first one is, you know the band ZZ Top?
Yep.
Okay, and you know the two guys are famous for having the big, long, pointy beards?
Correct.
Okay, so there's a third member of that band, and he's a guy that doesn't have a beard, and ironically his name is actually Frank Beard.
I actually knew that one, but I can see by the look on Jeremy's face that you've never heard. You know who we're talking about?
I'm Googling the image of the band.
Yeah, they're two lads with the big long beards.
What song did they sing?
Oh, give me all your lovin'.
Give me all your lovin'.
She's got legs.
Yeah. Anyway, so the two lads with the beards are well known for their beards, and the fella
I don't even know their names, to be honest. I just know the other guy is
ZZ.
Yeah, we call them the ZZ brothers. And your man with no beard, his surname is actually Beard.
Yes.
Which is mad.
Well, now, the one thing I do know about them is the reason they call themselves ZZ Top is so that they'd be the last entry in every book that was written.
Yeah, so they can be easily found on an alphabetical list at the very bottom.
Oh.
So
I didn't know that.
You know, you look up a book, the greatest bands of all time, yeah?
Yeah, go to the very back of the book and there they are.
Because they're
Exactly,
ZZ.
yeah.
Fascinating. Thanks, Clive.
That's why ABBA
Can I give you one more?
Oh, yeah, go on, one more, yeah.
Okay, one more. Just when that lady was on earlier on about the murder of crows, I've another kind of cute one for you.
Yeah.
So the collective name for a group of ladybirds is called a loveliness.
A loveliness of ladybirds.
Clive, will you come to my next house party? I'm having one in a couple of weeks. Great to have you there.
Well, I was laughing. The girl, Kate, texted me back on the WhatsApp, and I was just laughing at how hung up you still are on me 10 Downing Street fact from a couple of weeks back.
I still am, yeah. I still am.
Yeah. I like how you used that for the intro.
Clive, I have to tell you something. You are responsible for my mother, flicking for the last 2 weeks, flicking between Sky News, BBC. She's been flicking non-stop for the last 2 weeks, trying to find that key hole in number 10. Yeah. And she's going right up to her telly with her glasses on, going, I can see the keyhole, I can see it.
But she can't. She can't. That's
It's not there.
I know. Yeah.
Thanks, Clive. And
Cheers, guys.
one last call. Peter, you're on 98 FM. How are you, Peter?
Good morning, lads. How are you getting on?
Peter, tell us something we don't know.
Do you know that there's only 2 countries in the world where you cannot buy Coca-Cola?
Sorry, say that again?
There are 2 countries in the world where you can actually not buy Coca-Cola.
Oh, yeah, I know the answer to this.
Yeah, so it's Cuba and North Korea.
Yeah. I did know that, but every other country on planet Earth you can buy Coca-Cola.
You can buy it, and it's the only place in the world because of trade embargoes.
Yeah, no, I had heard that one before, but it's a fascinating fact as well. Peter, thanks very much indeed. Let's just squeeze in a couple of WhatsApp voice notes. This is from Dean.
Good morning, lads. Did you know you can't taste food unless it's mixed with saliva?
You can't taste food unless it's mixed with saliva. I never knew that. And Robbie.
Here's a fascinating fact for you, lads, which I don't know if you know, but
Do you know that your blood only turns red when it's met with oxygen? I think it's blue, or a dark bluey colour when it's in your body, but it only turns red once oxygen meets it.
So what, your blood is blue? No, that can't be right. Your blood is blue. No, I'm not buying that. Sorry about that. Anyway, thanks very much indeed for all of your fascinating facts and telling us things that we don't know. The word sand comes from between sea and land. Equals sand. Okay. And then one more message. Oh, you can get Coca-Cola in Cuba. I was there 2 years ago and it came from Mexico, but you can get it. There you go. And then other people arguing the point here. That's why your veins are blue. I'm looking at my veins and they do look blue, all right. So I'm being told that your blood is blue. Right. Thank you very much indeed. Thank you very much indeed for all of your fascinating facts. You're listening to 98 FM. This is Adrian Kennedy here till midday today.
The sound of the city from Lucan to Lusk. Dublin Talks. 98 FM's Dublin Talks.
And this is Adrian Kennedy with you until midday today. Now, let me just I forgot to pick out a winner. We do this randomly. So, of all those fascinating facts, the person going to the cinema is Ian. Oh, Ian, who was on earlier on about vegetarians can eat bacon fries. Which I never knew. I always thought there was some sort of bacon in bacon fries, but apparently not. Vegetarians can eat bacon fries. Ian, well done. You've just won yourself passes for IMC Cinemas. So enjoy your night out. Now, next on the programme is something that wasn't much of an issue 10 years ago, but the Me Too movement has changed the way men behave around women, especially in the workplace. But I want to ask you a question. Has it gone too far? So, I have a question for men listening to us right now. Do you ever pay compliments to women that you work with? Or maybe you don't anymore for fear of it being taken up the wrong way or being accused of sexual harassment? And for women, when does a compliment from a man become too sleazy? Would you have a problem with a male co-worker commenting on, let's say, your hair and saying, oh, your hair looks gorgeous today? Well, I want you to have a listen to this Facebook mail, which was sent to us on our Facebook page over the weekend, on Saturday, actually, and see what you make of this. This is from a guy called Dean. And here's what Dean says. Please don't give out my full name, but you might want to read this. On Friday, a group of us in work were making tea in the kitchen. One of the girls in our team had gotten her hair done the day before. Without thinking, I said to her that she looked great and her hair was lovely. I walked away. The fella who works beside me said, mate, you shouldn't have said that. You could get sacked. You can't compliment women anymore. It's creepy. I ended up going back to her desk and apologising to her, and she was like, I wasn't offended. My question is, are us men better off not making any comments to women now about how they look? Do you think this is where do you do this where you work in 98? Asks Dean. And a couple of moments ago, we had Trish here reading the news headlines at 11 o'clock. And during the ad break, I asked her, would it be okay for me to say to you, Trish, your hair looks gorgeous today? And she said yes, but conceded that there are other women that would not like that. They would see a compliment like that as being some sort of a come-on. And I'd like to hear from you on 6797981. So basically, Dean on Friday in work says to one of his female colleagues, oh, your hair looks gorgeous today. And one of his mates, his colleagues, pulled him aside and said, here, you shouldn't be saying that. You get yourself into trouble. You can't compliment women anymore. It's creepy. Roisin, you're on 98 FM. How are you, Roisin?
I'm well, how are you?
Oh, are you on speaker there?
Oh, hold on.
Hands free.
Wait.
That's much better. Now, what did you want to say on this? Is it no longer acceptable to be giving personal compliments to a work colleague?
I don't find a compliment to somebody's hair extremely personal.
You don't?
No, like a hairstyle, I think that's absolutely fair enough. Like, I can understand the women that want people to comment on their body. Like, if you were to say something about somebody's, their body, or say, oh, like, you could say to a work colleague, oh yeah, your bum looks great and that, or whatever. I mean, okay, I completely understand that.
Okay, is it okay then to say, because one of my colleagues was telling me this earlier on, that he last week said to a female colleague when she walked into work, oh my God, that dress is gorgeous on you. Is that okay?
I wouldn't be offended personally. However, if I was a man in the workplace, I certainly don't think that I would say that.
No, I have to say I wouldn't myself.
Yeah,
I wouldn't
like
myself.
That dress is gorgeous on you, implies that you look gorgeous. I'm looking at your body in that dress. I wouldn't really say that to anybody. Like, I wouldn't say that to a girl I worked with if she wasn't my friend.
Okay, what about wording it instead of saying that dress looks gorgeous on you? Yeah. That dress is gorgeous.
That's fine. That dress, of course, the lovely dress you have on there. Do you know what I mean? You look well. I like your dress. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Like, I think it's like anything else. Like, it's common sense has to prevail now. I don't think if you should. How can you not say to somebody, "Oh, did you get your hair done? It's lovely." That's insane.
Well, he did say it, and he did go back to the girl, and he did apologise, and she said she wasn't offended. But his mate basically said, "Mate, you shouldn't have said that. You could get sacked."
Oh, Jesus. Was your man winding them up? I understand that you have to, you have to stay away from certain subjects, like in the workplace, and, well, probably, like, socially in general, stay away from certain subjects in this day and age. But I think that you can compliment somebody's hair. I think that's gone way too far. And I have to say, like, I feel sorry for men in that sense, that they have to be so careful in what they say.
So you don't see anything wrong in saying to a woman your hair looks gorgeous, or that's a lovely haircut or whatever, but you look gorgeous in that dress is different.
I do think that is a little bit different. Because, yeah, like it's a little bit personal, because you would say that to your partner. Oh, you look gorgeous in that dress. Do you know what I mean? You wouldn't say it to your sister, like, oh, geez, you look gorgeous in that dress. Do you know what I mean? Like, so if you like, I think if you want to you just want to make sure that if it doesn't sound sleazy, think about it. Would you say it to, a member of your family, whatever, a friend, your mate's girlfriend, whatever? If you would, then I don't see why you couldn't say it in the workplace.
All right, stay there for 1 second, Roisin. 6797 981 is our telephone number. Paul, you think men are being demonised today? You there, Paul?
Hello?
Yes.
How are you, Adrian? Yeah, it's got to the stage now. Can't even look.
You can't even look at what?
No, you can't look anymore now. You're not allowed to speak to them in the walk. You'd want to come in now in that suit, from Silence of the Lambs that you put Hannibal Lecter in. Where you have the face mask on, black glasses, don't look, don't touch, don't speak.
And you think that it's very unfair on men, do you?
It's just gone to the stage now. It's gone from one extreme to another. You can't have a bit of banter now in case you do upset anybody. I'm in the best job in the world. I don't have to sit beside anybody. I maybe truck all day, thank God.
All right, so you don't have to give anybody a compliment on anything.
And I give the girls. See, the girls I deal with now would be sound enough girls. They know it's only a bit of crack and a bit of banter. Plus, we have to change the way we speak. I always spoke with how are you, love, how are you, darling. That you're not allowed to speak like that anymore now.
Yeah,
and I've noticed I've noticed in certain Dublin warehouses, the women don't speak like that anymore either now to us. There was a one I used to go into, and your woman was great crack. And there you are, love. There you are, pet. And
that's gone now, is it?
It's gone. It's gone. It's completely gone now. The laugh and the joke is gone because of bloody weirdos. And
I have to say,
the male weirdos.
Yeah, it is a word. It is a word that I used to use in my speech, and I've stopped using in my speech, especially in work. So, I might say,
long ago. I'd be sacked long ago, Adrian. So
I used to say things like, "All right, see you later, love," but I don't do that anymore.
Yeah,
I've stopped saying it.
It's nothing derogatory. It's just the way we speak. I mean, even out in London, you imagine the Cockneys out in London now, the East Enders, the way they used to speak. All right, darling. That's all gone now. That type of banter is gone now between men and women.
All right, stay there for a second, Jason. 6797981 is our telephone number. Text, WhatsApp, or send a WhatsApp voice note to 0877 98 98 98. This is the message that sparked this conversation from a guy called Dean. He says, on Friday, a group of us in work were making tea in the kitchen. One of the girls in our team had gotten her hair done the day before. I, without thinking, said to her that she looked great and her hair was lovely. I walked away. The fellow who works beside me said, mate, you can't say that. You could have been sacked. You can't compliment women anymore. It's creepy. I ended up going back to her desk and apologising to her, and she was like, I wasn't offended. My question is, are us men better at not making any comments to women about how they look in the workplace? Do you think this is where... do you do this where you work in 98? Asks Dean. Lorraine, I'm going to talk to you straight after the break. You think the world has gone mad?
Crazy.
Stay there. Back in a second.
The sound of the city from Ballybrack to Ballymun. Dublin Talks. 98FM's Dublin Talks.
So where do you draw the line on complimenting a work colleague of the opposite sex? Where do you draw the line? Is it okay for a bloke to say to a woman at work, this is exactly what Dean said the other day, that you look great, your hair is lovely, to a female colleague? And he was told by one of his mates, here, you shouldn't have said that, Dean. Honestly, man, you could get sacked. Dermot, you know someone who almost got sacked.
I do. I do. A 61-year-old man, right? A very big, tough guy, 61 years of age, over 30 years in a job, opened the door for a young lady one day and said, you're looking fresh and well. She took a grievance procedure against him, and it was coming only for the union had to come in and negotiate with her to drop the grievance against him.
Really?
So that's honest.
His exact words were, oh, you're looking fresh and well.
That's exactly what he said. I was there when he said it.
And did she take issue with him straight away?
She looked upset, and I didn't even pick up that what he said was that bad or anything, and I kept questioning myself that day because I knew by her reaction that she was upset. Is it an age thing? Is it because he was much older than her? I think... Well, no, we're living in a world of snowflakes, Adrian. That's the thing. You can't say anything. You can't even say boo to a bloody ghost anymore.
But is it okay for a man to say to a woman, you're looking fresh and well today?
I can't see anything wrong with it. I think it's crazy that someone would react in that way to it.
Because what I
really do. I mean, this is a man, I say, 60, a tough man that I've seen with his head in his hands trying to stop himself from crying.
But okay, she complained. She put in a complaint against him.
Yeah.
And on what basis was her complaint made? Why was she complaining?
She complained that he used, I can't remember the word that was used.
Derogatory or...
Derogatory term. There was the terminology of what he used. The words he used, the terminology of it anyway, that offended her. He offended her.
Okay, so looking fresh and well offended her. She saw it as a derogatory statement.
Yeah. That's what was carried through, and it took a union to plead with her to drop her grievance against that man.
And did he apologise to her?
Profusely. He even offered money.
And he was obviously apologising and not even knowing why he was apologising, because he obviously felt justified in saying what he said.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, but his whole thing was his career. Like, he was near retirement age. He was going to get a good pension. He could have lost everything.
Wow. Okay. So I'd better not say to any of my colleagues here in the office, you're looking fresh and well today.
Absolutely not. Say nothing.
And do you think that's a sad state of affairs, or is it just not appropriate for a man to say things like that?
It's a horrible world we're living in at the minute with the snowflake era. I mean, geez, you can't say anything. It's like that fella said, the Cockneys, all right, darling. Yeah, you know,
Yeah, but like I said, love is a word I used to use in my speech. Somebody came in, thanks very much, love. I don't do it anymore. I do, especially in the workplace.
I'm very mindful of that as well.
Yeah.
Like when you meet people, I used to say like, "Thanks, love." You can't even in a restaurant if a waitress comes over, and I used to say love. Yeah. I used to call them chicken. Thanks, chicken.
Right, yeah.
Better not say that.
Yeah. All right, come on, Dermot. Thanks very much indeed. 6797 981 is our telephone number. Now, Lorraine, if somebody were to say to you, "Oh, you're looking fresh and well today, Lorraine,"
I would absolutely be delighted.
Oh, would you? Regardless who it was, what age they were, anything.
If it's not said in a pervy way, Adrian, I mean, come on.
Okay, but let me give you
that chap.
Let me give you another example. I'm listening to your voice on the phone, Lorraine, and you sound very sexy.
Oh, thanks, Adrian.
Oh, right, okay. So that's not an insult. You wouldn't be offended by that.
A living at it, could I?
You wouldn't be offended by that.
Not at
because
all,
that's getting a bit personal when I say you sound very sexy.
Do you know what? People are too blooming sensitive these days. Seriously, it's like, I think you were talking about a while ago about somebody getting a wolf whistle and they were totally offended by it.
Yes, that's right.
I mean, if somebody wolf whistled at me, I'd be talking about it for a year. And that's being honest with you. It's only a compliment. People do that all the time. Where I worked a good few years ago, Jesus, the banter we used to have, the male and the female together, we had great crack. We worked long, hard hours. And if only for that, we wouldn't have got through our day's work or our night's work.
And it's something we were talking about in our office earlier. I can remember when I started in the radio business, there was, if you want to call it banter, we'll call it banter. But when I think about some of the conversations that would have been had back in the day with female colleagues and male colleagues, I can't imagine having... sorry, I was about to say, I can't imagine having conversations like that today.
I know, yeah. Like, sure, look, I worked with males and females, and I worked in a fantastic company for years. And like that too, we covered every subject from under the sun, and we even solved problems for people who were having problems, and we all gave our input. You couldn't do that nowadays.
No.
You know,
but is that sad, or is it just a sign of the times that we have to learn to live with, that it's just not appropriate anymore?
It's sad because, you know what, we're all going to turn into bloody robots, and nobody's going to say hello to anybody or pass a comment to anyone without offending them. And I am not, I'm all for, I don't mean, this is probably going to sound bad, but I mean, I know there's women out there that get sexually abused, and it is absolutely disgraceful, and I don't agree with that whatsoever. What I'm talking about is just pure innocent banter, that somebody would say something and you just don't take offence by it. They don't mean anything by it. It's just a conversation or a nice comment that they're giving you. But I mean, if someone is touching you up or doing something,
no, that's different. Yeah, that is completely totally different. Yeah, I agree. You can't be.
You have to separate the two. And I mean, having a bit of banter with your work colleagues or people who you're out with or whatever. I mean, if the way society is going, everyone's going to be afraid to speak to one another. It's gone ridiculous. I think it has anyway, and that's just my personal opinion. I mean, it's nice to have a bit of banter with somebody, and whether it be a jokey way or whatever, you know. I mean, even that man, as he said, the last caller there, calling somebody, thanks very much, love, and he's afraid to say that now in case somebody gets... Well,
I am that soldier as well, Lorraine, I'll be honest with you. I'm very conscious about not using that word. So if I'm with my daughter, for example, I'd say, would you get me that there, love, please? That's okay, but I wouldn't ever say it in work now. I used to, but I don't anymore.
I would not take offence if somebody called me love.
All right,
I wouldn't take that. I actually wouldn't even think about it. I wouldn't even think to be offended by it. That's my personal opinion.
That's brilliant, love. Thanks very much. You see, it does sound a bit weird. It does. When a man on the radio starts calling you love. Stay there for a second, Lorraine. 6797 981 is our telephone number. You can text, WhatsApp, or send a WhatsApp voice note to 0877 98 98 98. So Dean is at work the other day. He says to one of his female colleagues, without thinking, that she looked great and her hair was lovely. Is it okay to say things like that to your colleagues in work? You look great and your hair is lovely. That's what he said. Or the man who nearly lost his job for saying to a colleague as he held open the door for her, "Oh, you're looking fresh and well today." Bill, you're on 98 FM. How are you, Bill?
Hey, lads, how you doing?
Good, thanks, Bill.
This is just ridiculous. It's feminazis all over again. That's what this is. It's ridiculous. It's a snowflake era. No one would be able to say hello to anybody anymore in a couple of years' time because everybody would be offended by it.
Yeah. Oh, no, I totally agree. And I can say, from a workplace point of view, the workplace that I work in today, and this is no reflection on the company, but the workplace I work in today is much more sterile than it was 20, 30 years ago.
Well, if you said to Katie, "How are you, love?" would she be offended by it?
Katie, love. Are you offended by me calling you Katie? Or love, Katie? Oh, she's saying it makes a nice change to what I'd usually call her.
Well, there you go. Well, look, at my job, I'm on the road all the time, and if I go into places and this girl says, "How are you, love? What's the story?" Nobody's ever reported me. I said, "Don't call me that." And if he did, I'd just laugh and continue. I wouldn't change it. That's the way I am. I don't care what anyone says. It's a load of crap. It really is. And I remember I spoke to my boss about this.
Okay, say for example, Bill, I'm in my early 50s, okay?
So am I.
And if I were to say to a colleague upstairs who's in her early 20s, yeah, and I was to say, "How are you today, love?"
Yeah.
I think I would be called a creep.
Well, if I said to the girls in my office, "How's it going, love? You well? What's the crack?" That kind of thing. Well, they might be behind your back all right, but they've never reported me or anything like that. And if they did, I'd just say, "Get a bleeding life." I wouldn't accept it. No, it's ridiculous the way it's gone nowadays. Kids growing up, I have 3 young children, and I weep for them when they're hitting their 20s, which way this planet is going to be.
Well, okay, have a listen to this message, and it says, "If comments are repeatedly made, you might get a bit paranoid. A friend of mine lost weight. Their boss kept commenting on this to the point they wondered were they so extremely overweight to begin with, which they weren't." So in other words, the implication by these constant compliments about losing weight, the implication was, well, you were a big fat hound before that.
Look, if you're a big fat hound before people said you look great losing weight, but then you should still...
Are you there? Oh, we've lost you. Fiona, you're on 98 FM. How are you?
I'm grand, how are you?
Good, thanks. What did you want to say, love?
Love, grand. I work in a hospital that has quite a lot of elderly patients.
Okay.
And we all have to go through training not to call them pet names, like love or dear. Or,
really? Oh, yeah. So that's actually...
It's not allowed.
It's frowned upon now.
Yeah, I can kind of see their point as in, like, if someone's been, like, patronising, it's kind of like, I've been on this earth, like, twice as long as you, don't call me love. But if you have a nice relationship with them, then it's kind of sad to be, like...
So sterile?
Yeah. I think
really, I never. So that's actually part of the training in the health service, that you don't refer to a patient as darling or love or anything like that.
Yeah, everyone, catering staff, everyone, like anyone.
But I'm sure some of the patients might call you that.
Yeah, I have no problem with it whatsoever. Like, you know, if someone's been pervy or something, you know straight away. But if someone's just been nice, then I just think it's nice. Like, nothing wrong with it.
Okay, all right. Thanks very much, love.
See you, darling.
Bye. There you go. I have to say, the majority of you who've been in touch with us have basically said you don't have a problem with this, but you have to watch your P's and Q's now. That's the bottom line, because you never know, like that man who almost lost his job for telling a female colleague that she was looking fresh and well. You literally have to watch your P's and Q's and be very sure of who you're talking to before you pass a compliment. My friends and I, says this message, we're chatting about this recently, and we love getting a good compliment or a whistle. Absolutely nothing wrong with it. Puts us in a great mood for the day. As for a man noticing your hair, well, that's a bloody miracle, as usually they wouldn't notice. It's only the snowflake feminists that will be offended. How are you, love, is such a Dublin thing too. I love hearing it in a thick Dublin accent, says Aoife. All right, love, thanks very much. This is 98 FM's Dublin Talks. I'm Adrian Kennedy. We're with you until midday today. Now, we got a WhatsApp earlier, just at the start of the show, from a lady called Hayley. And here's what Hayley says, and I'm looking for your help, okay? Lads, I need your help. I'm bringing my nephew to visit Santa on Friday. Any ideas where is the best place to visit him? Where are the best ones? Says Hayley. I don't want to visit a rubbish one. Only magical ones. So the question that Hayley wants us to ask you to advise us on is, where is the best Santa in Dublin? Where is the best place to see Santa? Or even outside Dublin. Call us right now on 6797 981. Text, WhatsApp, or send a WhatsApp voice note to 0877 98 98 98. Where is the best place to see Santa? That's what Hayley wants to know, and that's what we're asking you.
The sound of the city, from Kilbarrack to Kiltiernan. Dublin Talks. 98 FM's Dublin Talks.
And this is Adrian Kennedy, and what's her name? Hayley sent us a message earlier on, and Hayley said, lads, I need your help. I'm bringing my nephew to visit Santa on Friday. Any idea where the best ones are? Says Hayley, and I don't want to visit a rubbish one. Any magical ones? So that's what we're asking. It is, by the way, look at my watch, 25. It's a month to Christmas Day. And obviously Santa arrived at loads of venues over this past weekend and weekends before now. He is nearly everywhere now. And we want to know, Hayley wants to know, where is the best place to visit him? Where is the best Santa around these parts? And just as a follow-on to that last conversation, I'm surprised Santa is still around with the snowflakes. It's only a matter of time. I mean, we've already had conversations about sitting on Santa's knee and how a lot of places don't allow children to sit on Santa's knee anymore. So I think the snowflake thing might give Santa a knock on the head over the next couple of years. Anyway, call me right now on 6797 981. You can text, WhatsApp, or send a WhatsApp voice note to 0877 98 98 98. 0877 98 98 98. This message says, Centre Parks in Longford. I've not been to that one, but I've been to them in the UK around Christmas time. They do the best winter wonderland and Santa, and it's only an hour and a half up the road from Dublin if you just wanted to do a day pass. Can you do that? It's a long drive to see Santa, isn't it? I mean, yeah, but okay, if Centre Parks is that magical. Let me see. Keep them coming in. Suggestions as to where is the best place around these parts to visit Santa. Let's have a listen to this WhatsApp voice note.
Oh yeah, Adrian. I brought my young one to see Santa in the Duns in the Ilac Centre. It was quite cool. You have like polar bears and everything else. It's deadly. Cheers.
Okay. Keep them coming in on 6797 981. Where is the best place to visit Santa between now and Christmas? Because as I said, he arrived in lots of places over the weekend. I should imagine he's in every place that he's going to be visiting by now. So where is the best place to visit Santa? Here's another WhatsApp voice note.
Airfield in Dundrum is a fantastic place to see Santa. They do have it all lovely, especially if you go in the night time, it will all be lit up gorgeous, and it's on a lovely grounds as well. Really nice stuff. Worth a look.
All right, Phil, thanks very much indeed. A lot of you, and this is an annual thing because they always do it well, Arnott's all day long, says this message. They are always incredible, and they're always incredible. And there you go. And I think that's the real Santa, actually, in Arnott's. Do you think it is? Anyway, Gillian, you're on 98 FM. Hiya, Gillian.
Hi.
Gillian, where is the best place to visit Santa?
Santa's Magical Kingdom in the Clonard Court out in Athy.
The Clonard Court?
hotel in Athy.
Oh, right, okay. So that's just down the M7 there.
It's amazing. I brought my son and then I recommended it to other people and they both said the same. It's unbelievable.
Right, the Clonard Court in Athy in County Kildare, so it's not that far away. It's only down if you live in Dublin, it's only down the motorway. What makes it so magical?
So you need about 3 hours because...
Oh, really?
Seriously. As soon as you go in, they've the whole hotel. However way they do it, they've even covered all the walls. The part that's meant to be Santa's, workshop and everything else is all covered. And they go in first with the elves and they have to wake up a lazy elf, see all the elves in bed, in their little beds, and then they make a little ornament for the tree in Santa's workshop. Then they go into Santa's house. They can jump on Santa's bed.
Really?
It's unbelievable. And then they see Mrs. Claus. Then they see reindeer. And then at the very, very end, they see Santa. And then they have a hot chocolate.
Oh, right. So they get to see all around his house, all through his workshop, and then eventually get to meet him.
Yep.
That sounds amazing.
It was something else. Now, I brought my son, and I've since recommended it to, other friends of mine. Now, you can stay overnight and have dinner with princesses and everything else. Now, we didn't do that.
Right, okay.
We did the day experience. But you can.
That sounds like going to the North Pole.
It was out of this world. It really was. I wanted to see Santa's bed and all the old-fashioned tartan bed clothes, and you jump on the bed and there was a real fire. It was unbelievable.
That really sounds mega.
I'd recommend it to anyone.
And was Santa lovely as well?
Oh, sure, he was fantastic. He was only fantastic, and the presents were decent as well, I think.
Excellent, right. The Clonard Court Hotel in Athy in County Kildare. It sounds brilliant, actually. Really does.
It is. It's so good.
All right, Gillian, thanks for sharing that with us. That sounds like a mega trip. Where is the best place to visit Santa? That's the question that we're asking. Well, that's the question one of our listeners wanted us to ask you. Darren sent us this WhatsApp voice note.
Adrian, I went to Jervis. The Santa's real realistic looking. No real beard and all that's great.
In the Jervis Centre. All right, good man, Darren. Robbie, you're on 98FM. Hi, Robbie.
How's it going, Adrian?
Good, thanks, Rob. Now, what did you want to say?
I think an amazing place would be the Phoenix Park. If you set up a Santa experience in the Phoenix Park and tied it in with the reindeer and everything down there.
But we're actually asking about places that do exist.
Yeah, well, they're all the same when you think about it. So I'm getting married in the Clonard Court now very soon.
Oh, are you?
I went to that one and it is pretty good, I have to say.
Is it? Oh, very good.
Yeah.
And the Clonard Court is in Athy, so that's a good plug for them now. They've got loads of mentions. But you've seen the whole Santa setup, have you?
Yeah, it is. It's very good. But just you can imagine if you done one in the Phoenix Park, the Santa experience in the Phoenix Park, and tied it in with the reindeer and everything, how good it would be.
It would be
all the same.
It would be amazing.
Generically. You go to Liffey Valley, you go to Blanchardstown, you walk into a little 4x4 house, see Santa, walk back out, get your present.
Yeah. I know. I think even parents are becoming a little bit more choosy now about Santa, and you don't want
that's what I'm saying.
You don't want to be visiting them in a little box like.
No, that's what you done in the olden days, and kids were scared of the Santa Claus when they went in. Actually, sometimes I remember my little lad was frightened when he went in.
Okay, thanks, Rob. Wow, a lot of you texting us in about the Clonard Court Hotel in Athy. I second the Clonard Court Hotel, says this message. Fabulous experience we had there. I'd highly recommend it, says Suzanne. There you go. Helen, you're on 98FM. Hi, Helen.
Hi, Adrian.
Now, Helen, where would you recommend?
The Pavilions in Swords is great. We arrived yesterday, and it's in the Christmas quarter now in the Pavilions, and there's a nice drinking all over there.
And whereabouts in the Pavilions is it? Because I haven't been there in the last week or two.
It's called the Christmas Quarter. They have it over where the fun fair used to be.
Oh, right, yeah.
In the car park there, and it's called the Christmas Quarter.
Oh, so it's a whole separate building?
Yeah, a little, it's a log cabin, and you wait and you go in a sitting room to go in and see Santa, and it's free. And you just have to pay €5 for a photograph if you want that with Santa. I sent you a picture there, and he's absolutely lovely man and a real beard and all, and he's lovely.
Ah, that's lovely. Right, so
And that's a cheaper option now for anyone who wants to go. You know, wouldn't all have the same money to go to maybe a place that's really expensive to bring if you have a couple of kids.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. Okay, so you would recommend the pavilions in Swords, and it's outside the shopping centre. It's not actually in the centre itself.
Outside, yeah, and there's a nice skating rink, and you can have a cup of tea, and that's it's lovely now.
All right, brilliant. Thanks very much indeed, Helen. And by the way, that hotel in Athy is called the Clanard Court, not the Clonard Court. Okay, the Clanard Court. Jimmy, you're on 98 FM. How are you, Jimmy?
Hi, good morning. The best shanty I think you're going to get anywhere in Dublin this year is in the Square. They have a simulated ride.
A simulated ride, yeah?
And you go on it, you go across the River Liffey, you go across London.
Oh, really?
You fly through a few other countries, you go through the gates of Lapland, and then you see the grotto, and then when you come back, you're into the ride in the grotto. But there's moving things in the grotto as well. And just to point out, I'm sure everybody knows, there is only one Santi. And every time you go to a different shopping centre, you're seeing Santi's Helpers.
Yes, no, I know that, yes.
Everybody knows there's only one Santi. And the real Santi...
You used to be one of Santa's helpers, did you?
I was the Santa helper, yeah. But the real Santi is in the Square, and everywhere else, there's Santi's Helpers. But it's definitely worth the queue, worth the wait. And anyone that goes there that doesn't like it gets back onto you. I'd even refund them the money. It's that good.
Really? Right.
That
okay,
good.
So the Square in Tala...
the Square is on the second floor. It's on the second floor.
Yeah.
And anyone that would go that would not enjoy it, tell them to ring you and I'll refund them.
Right. Okay. And, sorry, are you actually one of Santa's helpers in the Square?
I am. But
very good.
I'm not saying it for that. I just defy anyone to go and beat it for what it is and the value that they're given.
Wow. Okay, that's brilliant, Jimmy. So the Square, second floor in Tala. Get along there because Santa is mega, apparently.
Mega.
All right.
Mega.
Good man. Thanks, Jimmy. Now, where am I going? Dylan, you're on 98 FM. Dylan, where would you recommend?
I think I'm not saying in the wrong place in the section. I think it's Rathnew Lakes. I was on about. I'm not saying in the wrong place there.
Rathnew Lakes?
I think it is it? The one down in Wicklow there, you go on a boat on a train ride.
Oh, it's called Christmas Island, apparently. It's called Christmas Island.
Christmas Island, that's the one, yeah.
Hidden Valley Holiday Park in Rathnew.
Yeah, completely wrong.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, that's it.
And you've been there, have you?
I went the last 2 years now in a row, and my little fella loves it. When you go there, you go on like a train ride, and then they bring you through like a forest with all the elves and the fairies and stuff, and then you go on a boat ride then onto the little island then. You do like
I'm looking at it here. That actually looks amazing.
Yeah, it's brilliant. All the lights and all, it's brilliant.
Yeah,
I've been to a couple of them now over the years. And
Christmas Island, the Santa Experience. Oh, it's actually in Rathdrum in County Wicklow. But so it's not Rathnew either. Christmas Island, the Santa Experience, and I'm just looking at some photographs online here. That looks mega.
Yeah, it's
that
brilliant.
looks
We've been
amazing.
to a couple now over the last couple of years, and that. Now we're sticking to that in the last 2 years. And we're going again this year. It's brilliant.
Okay, so you'd definitely recommend it. So Christmas Island, it's called, and it is in Rathdrum in County Wicklow, which again is just it's just down the motorway, and apparently you can stay overnight as well if you want to.
Yeah, we stayed overnight last year in like a little log cabin. It was brilliant. Kids loved it.
All right, brilliant. Thanks very much indeed. And one last call, Alison. How are you?
How are you? How's it going?
Good. We've had a few messages about the place that you're recommending, which is where?
Yeah.
Oh, I can't hear you, Alison. Are you there?
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, go on.
It's Causey Farm in Meath. It's amazing. It's you go to they think they take about 10, 15 families at a time.
Right.
And you take the elves workshop or the elves.
Oh, I don't know what's wrong with your phone line there, Alison.
Sorry, can you hear me now? Am I okay now?
Oh, yeah, there you are, yep.
Yeah, here I am.
So Causey Farm, it's called. It's in it's near Kells in County Meath.
That's it, yeah. But the year we went, you walk around and the kids get to store the pudding and make a wish. Like it's real old, like traditional. And then when we turned the next corner, there was a wise man standing there with a camel.
Oh, right. Oh, very good.
Yeah, so it was out there.
Excellent. I'm looking at some photographs from Causey Farm, and it does look mega, I have to say. It looks amazing. In fact, all of the places that have been mentioned look incredible. Thank you, Alison. A couple of people did mention that. So Tato Park apparently as well. So just to recap very quickly, the places that have been mentioned are Christmas Island in Rathdrum in County Wicklow, Clonard Court Hotel in Athy, the Square in Tala on the second floor, and Causey Farm close to Kells in County Meath. They are all the places that our listeners have recommended to visit Santa this year. Oh, and Arnott's. All right, thank you very much indeed. That was interesting. We're back again tomorrow morning, 10 a.m. Have a great Monday. Barry Dunn is on the way. And on the next hour, he's got some great music lined up, like these.
The sound of the city, from Furhouse to Finglas. Dublin Talks. 98 FM's Dublin Talks.